All right, guys. So good evening once again. So we are back to another class, and we're going to continue from where we left off. So we're going to be looking at percentages, our percentage, and then now we'll continue. Now, based on what we had looked at with percentages, our percentage from the other class, anybody remember what the word percentage means? Anybody at all? Miss Green, you remember what percentage means?
Percentage, it's a fraction with 100 as its denominator.
All right, very good. So Miss Clark, I saw your hands up. Did you want to say something, Miss?
I was going to say, it means out of 100, sir.
Right. So it's a fraction out of 100. That means we use the denominator as 100. Now, as I had mentioned before, that percentage is a very convenient fraction because everybody can relate to numbers between 1 and 100. And so when you put your fraction into percentage, it quickly gives a sense of how much out of 100 that you get. So it's easy for people to relate to that. Now, in the business world, you'll find that percentage is used a lot as fraction. All right. So, and in the public domain, if you're talking about anything to do with the public, they'll often use percentage. So it's a very commonly used fraction. So because of that, we need to understand how to write numbers as percentages. And sometimes we may be able to convert percentage to fractions as well as percentage to decimal, or vice versa, converting fractions to percentages and decimals to percentage. All right, so we would have started on this topic from last week. So we're going to just continue. All right, so just a quick recap. So we say a percentage is a fraction with 100 as its denominator. And if we are to write a percentage as a fraction, whatever number you get written beside the percentage symbol, you simply just write it over 100. So 25% is really 25 over 100. And to get it into a simplified fraction, you cancel down 25 over 100. You just find a number that can go into both 25 and 100, or the highest common factor. Highest number that can go into 25 and 100 would be 25. 25 into itself, 1. 25 into 100, 4. And so the fraction that we end up with is a quarter. All right, so everybody should be able to see that so far. Likewise, 30% is just simply 30 over 100. And if you cancel it down by the highest number that can go into both of them, and in this case, we can use 10. 10 into 30 goes 3 times, and 10 into 100 goes 10 times. So the percentage cancel down to a simple fraction would be 3 over 10. All right. Any questions so far, guys? Everybody's following?
Yes, sir.
All right. So as I mentioned, converting percentage to decimal or fraction, sometimes we need to be able to do that. Now we just look at how to convert a percentage to fraction. So we know already how to convert fractions to decimal. So the easiest thing you'd want to do here is to first convert the percentage to fractions and then convert the fractions to decimal. So that should not be difficult for you guys because you would have seen how to convert fractions to decimals before. So as I said, we first convert the percentage to fraction and then the fraction to decimal. Here we have converting this to fraction. We would write it first as a percentage, which is 30 over 100. Cancel it down as a simple fraction. And then now convert the fraction to decimal. And to do that, what would we do if we are converting this fraction 3 over 10 to decimal, Ms. Clark?
Okay, so converting, what is it? 30 over 100.
Or the simplified fraction here. When
Oh,
it's simplified to the fraction 3 over 10, how do we convert that?
Sir, I'm not understand. Rephrase the question again, sir.
So we are converting 30% decimal, all right? But we say that first you convert it to fraction and then the fraction to decimal. So here we convert 30% to fraction, and the fraction that we get is what? 3 over 10.
3 over.
So now how can we convert this 3 over 10 to decimal?
Okay, sir. You have to divide 10 into 3.
All right, so if you divide 3 by 10, what do you get?
3 by 10, 10 by. All right, sir. I'm gonna tell them I like to do it the long division.
All right, no problem.
All right, so first we're going to divide 10, 3 by 10. So you're gonna say 10 into 3. You can't, so you put a 0. And then being that it's only a 3 there, sir, you're going to have to put the decimal point and then add 0 after the decimal point. And then we're going to say 10 into 30 goes 3 times.
All right.
So you're gonna
Stick up in Miss Clark, because saying how to do it. Let me give a sense of what you're saying by just writing as you're saying it. All right. So you're saying you're dividing the numerator, denominator, which is 3 divided by 10.
Yes, sir.
Long division way. That's what you're saying, right? All right, so this is our division bar. And here, which of these we're going to put under the division bar, Miss Clark?
3, sir.
All right, so we have 3. And we're dividing that by 10.
Yes, sir.
That means we're putting 10 outside here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so then what we say now?
10 into 3, you put a 0, sir, over the 3 up top.
All right. So you put a 0 here.
Yes, sir.
And why do you put that 0, Miss?
Because 10 cannot go into 3, sir.
All right. So what is the 0 representing here?
It is representing whole number, sir.
Okay, so what next?
Then you put you're gonna put a point behind the 0, sir. a point behind the 3 and the 0 up top.
All right. So you put a point behind the 0 up top. Why are we putting a point behind the 3?
So I'm not quite sure, sir.
All right. Anybody can tell us what is our next step?
You put a 0 beside the 3, and then you say 10 into 30.
All right, so put a 0 beside the 3. So why do we put a 0 beside it, Mr. Giovanni?
Because the 10 can't go into 3, so the 0 have to use as a placeholder.
Okay. All right. So when you divide 30 by 10, what you get?
10 into 3 times.
All right. So we would have 3. Go ahead, Miss Clark.
So like, I'm not supposed to put the point between the 3 in the fraction bar between the 3 and the between the 30.
Nope. You're not supposed to do that. Where you put the point in the result above the division bar, you are using that point to separate the whole number part from the fractional part. So you're separating the 0 whole number from what you're going to get now for the decimal. All right, now below now, because you're now going to move to the next place value in terms of the 10th column, then you have to now you add a 0, but you're really moving to the next column. So you'd have multiplied by 10. So when you multiply 30 by 10, now we can now divide that column. All right?
Okay, sir.
Right. So each time when you try to divide and you are unable to divide, you add a 0. And when you add that 0, you are moving down to the next base value after the point. All right, so now we are, because remember, you try dividing the whole number 3 by 10, and you couldn't. So you put the 0, that 0 position would be the ones place column. So now you're moving on to the next place column. So you put your point, and then now you times this by 0. All right, so you times it by 10. So you add 0. Every time you're times into the next place value, you're really just adding 0. Then you divide by 10. So now we add 0 to the 3. Now we can divide 30 by 10. We get 3 times. So now 3 times 10 give you 30.
30.
So now we subtract 30 from 30. And down here we have zeros. Once we have 0, it means that our result above the division bar is what we need to get. All right? All right, so I hope everybody remember how to follow this procedure. And I know sometimes we forget how to do these little things. So we have to keep practicing them, students, all right? All right, so moving on then. So as I was saying, first, if you're converting percentage to decimal, you may want to first convert the percentage to a fraction, and then you convert the fraction to the decimal. All right, so that should be pretty straightforward. Now, if you are converting decimals or fractions to percentage, that is not so hard at all. All right. All right, good evening to Miss Scott and to Miss Taylor. All right, so welcome to the class. All right, how can we now write decimals as percentage, or how can we write fraction as percentages? Anybody would like to give, let me call on someone. Mr. Jano, how do we write these numbers? Give me a second, guys. Let me answer to this. All right, guys, sorry about that. So I was now asking, is there anyone who knows how to convert a decimal to percentage or a fraction to percentage? And let me ask Mr. Ojino. Mr. Ojino, have any idea how to do that?
Not really, no, sir, but me see one, just say 3/4 times 100% would that give you 75%.
All right, so what that is telling you then, Mr. Ojino, that in order to convert any fraction to percentage, you're simply just going to multiply it by 100.
Yeah, by 100%.
Now, why is it that works? So let me write down what you say you have. So if you have the fraction, which is 3/4, now when you're writing a fraction as a percentage, you want to know how much out of 100. All right. So if you multiply 100 by the fraction, right? What you're saying here, you want to find out how much this fraction is out of 100. So if you have 3/4 of 100, what you really want to say, you're multiplying the 100 by 3/4, right? Now, when you do that, you can actually cancel down. So you say 4 into itself goes 1. 4 into 100 goes, anybody? For how many times you get 4 out of 100?
25, sir.
25, all right. So here we now have, in the numerator, we have 3/5, so we're going to multiply in the numerator 3 times 25. We get 75. The denominator, if we multiply the 1, we get back 1. So this would be actually 75 over 1. But we need not put it over the 1, because if you divide 75 by 1, you get back the same 75. Now, because we are calculating this by by percentage, it means that we need to put the percentage symbol here. Now, we generally, it is customarily when we are converting any fraction or decimal to 100, we actually multiply it by 100. We generally put the percentage symbol here to remind you that your answer must be in percentage. All right, is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand if you're understanding so far. All right, so pretty much to convert decimals or fractions to percentages, it is pretty straightforward. You simply multiply these numbers by 100. Now, so you multiply the fraction by 100 if you're converting it to percentage, and you also multiply your decimals by 100 if you're converting them to percentage. And remember that decimals are really fractions written in a special way, because there are special types of fraction. We have powers of 10 in their denominators. So it means that it would have been the same process, multiplying it by 100, that will give us the percentage. Because for all fractions, to convert them to percentage, you simply multiply them by 100%. All right? That should be pretty straightforward. So here we have 3/4 times 100 give you 75%. And we have 0.65 in decimal times 100 give you 65%. And when you convert in decimals and you multiply them by 100, it's pretty easy to work this out. All you need to do is to, because you're timesing by 100, the power of 10 here would be 10 to the 2. That means you have 2 zeros in the 100. So that means your decimal point should be moved 2 places to the right. And so that would end up giving you 65. All right, so I hope everybody is following that. Any questions? Raise your hand, guys, if you're all following and you're all understanding. All right, I have seen 2 persons' hands so far. That means, is that meaning that only 2 persons understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Now you have to respond to indicate to me that you understand or you don't understand, so that I can clarify it before moving on. All right, so I'm taking it that everybody's understanding how to convert decimals and fractions to percentages. So we're going to be moving on. All right. Now, I think we had looked at these questions. Did we look at these problems from previous class, guys?
I think so.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, so anyone, can you tell me how we can find 25% of 44?
Sir, you're
Yes.
going to 25 over 100 times 44.
Okay. All right. Ms. Clark, I saw you were raising your hand.
Yes, sir. I was just saying that I put 25 over 100 times
right.
44.
Okay, good. Anybody else who want to add to what Ms. Clark is saying?
No, sir.
Okay, so everybody's good with that so far. So why does this work? Because if we want to find 25% of 44, remember we say that percentage is a special fraction. Now, if 25% is a fraction, then if you find the fraction of find it in a fractional form, then we know that 25 is 25 over 100. And so 25 over 100 so if you're writing this as a fraction of 44, clearly we just need to times it by 44. And if we actually simplify this, we get 25 into itself. 25 into 100 goes 4 times. So finding 25% of 44 is the same thing as saying you're finding a quarter of 44, right? Because 44 would be the fraction equivalent to 25%. And so we can just cancel it down. So 44 into 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 44 goes 11 times. So what is the answer here, students?
11, sir.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add to that? All right, so I take it that everybody follows so far. Now, one of the common things that students generally do is to put back the percentage sign. Why wouldn't we put back the percentage sign, Ms. Clark? Why are we not supposed to put back the percentage sign?
Sir, because what I always use to read the question, so you say find 25% of 44. If it was for what I do, sir, I always look at it like this. If you're gonna put the say, if it says 25 of 44 plus, and then you have to do the percentage, and I put 25 over 44, and once 100 is on the other side, sir, then I put the percentage at the from beside the answer. That's how I do it.
All right, so I'm not sure if I heard you correctly just now. So you say you would put 25 over 44 times 100?
If that was the question, sir, and then the answer would have to be in percentage.
Oh, so if you're saying if you're finding percentage, then you would be doing.
Yes, sir. Then the answer would have to be have the percentage sign.
Let us understand what you just said. So if you want to write a number in percentage, for in this case, would be able to write this in percentage at all?
Sir, repeat.
I was just saying, would that be applicable to this question?
No, sir.
Okay, just getting the clarification. All right,
Yes, sir.
because they said you put 25 over 44, I was trying to process what do you really mean by that. So can you explain that for me?
All right, sir. Let's just say the question says I don't know how to phrase this question.
So
But
write 25 as a percentage of 44. That's what you're saying.
yes, sir. And then the answer would have been in percentage.
Right. So if you're asked to write 25 as a percentage of 44, then you would put the 25 as a fraction of 44, meaning you put the 25 over 44. Now you times it by 100.
100, yes, sir.
Here.
And then the answer would have to be with the percentage sign.
Right. So if you're writing a number as percentage, then the answer going to be in percentage. But if you're finding a percentage of a number, then your answer will be without the percentage sign.
Exactly, sir.
Clear that you understand these two differences. It sounds trivial, it sounds straightforward, but I've often seen students make these mistakes. All right. So a student will be asked, find 25% of 44. They do the calculation correctly, but they still put by the percentage sign, which means that they have a little misconception of what the answer is supposed to be. All right, so I hope everybody is following so far. So in this case, our answer will be 11. Now, I think we had looked at this question. Can somebody remind us how we go through this question again? This way, some you want to walk us through this one? Are you there, Miss Waysome? Are you here? All right, I'm not getting a response there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we are looking at this question express 580 grams as a percentage of 2 kilograms. So can you just walk us through the procedure and tell us what to do and why we're doing what we're doing?
Um, 580. So let me just tell you, sir, and you put it, but really and truly, I don't really know what we are doing. The workout would have been 580 over 2,000. I didn't get to the last class, and I think it was
Right,
so
so
much
you say you have 580
over 2,000.
Give me a second.
Yes, sir.
80 over 2,000.
Yes, sir. Times 100.
Then we times that by 100.
Yes, sir.
And so what will happen here now? Why do we have 580 over 2,000, Miss Grayson?
Sir, because we're trying to get because 580 gram and 2 kg, so we're trying to get everything to be on the same level.
All right, so in other words, what you're saying, we are trying to get the units
Neat, right, to be the same.
to be the
So we
same.
convert the 580 to the kg as well.
All right, because when we see kilogram, we know that that unit, what kilo means. When we use the prefix kilo or K, what the K really means. Anybody?
Thousand.
Kilogram, a kilo?
Yeah, so the K refers to kilogram, but what it means in terms of quantity.
1,000.
Right, so K here is telling you that you have 1,000 grams, right? So if you have 2 kg, it means that you're going to multiply the K by 2, so you would have 2,000 grams. If you're writing the 580 as a fraction of 2 grams, you need to convert the 2 kg into grams, which is actually 2,000 grams. And then now you can work with both numbers with the same unit, G. So you put 580 over 2,000 times 100,